Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, you'll notice I'm holding up a business card of mine. I distribute these to, well, any place that I visit, pretty much. So this is how I get the name of my channel out. But also, this is just kind of a really cheap replacement for an intro video. But what am I hiding behind the card? That's the question. Well, I got something pretty interesting, actually. It's a really old laptop. And basically, I decided that I would Frankenstein a couple of these together and make a single working unit. Now, what this is an HP EliteBook 2730p. This was roughly 2008, so it's a pretty old system in its own right. But I'll tell you, after having slapped this thing together, semi-working parts, I've come up with something that I think is actually pretty nice, and I'm going to go over a lot of these features here in a second. So I'll basically go over what this is. So it has an Intel Core 2 Duo, is a 1.8 gigahertz LV processor. It has 4 gigabytes of DDR2 800 RAM, 250 gig 7200 RPM platter hard drive, and that is one of its biggest downfalls. That is a 1.8 inch. It is like the bastard child of hard drives. You can't just put a 2.5 inch regular laptop hard drive in here. It won't work. It's not that kind of form factor. It's really strange. Yeah, you don't want one if you don't have to. So, continuing on, there is a Intel Graphics 4500 MHD integrated graphics processor. It is a 12.1 inch Illumilite WXGA display, which is 1280 by 800, I think. 2 megapixel webcam, USB 2.0, 1394A Firewire, RJ11 and 45, express card, SD card, 802.11. This is nice. A, B, G, and N. For being back in 2008, that's actually not too bad. Bluetooth is only 2.0, so a little bit of a downside on that. It is a 44 watt hour battery, a fingerprint scanner on the side, and I will show you two cool things this had, and you're going to like these. And this is running Windows 10, however it was designed to run Windows 7 from the factory. So, right off the bat, you'll notice the hinge. And for those of you that are familiar with computers in any real capacity, you'll understand why that's there and what to expect next. So we'll start off on this side. You have your Firewire, your headphone, your microphone jack, your fingerprint scanner here, which is functional this way. SD card slot. Let's get the light in here. SD card slot, another USB, a portable lock, RJ11 and 45, VGA, power adapter. I'll go over that guy in a second. Don't worry about him. Express card is in here with a pop-out dummy tray. Wi-Fi switch. It's going to sound funny, but for the life of me, I don't remember what this is for. USB again. Power and 3 status indicators. Lock for the front, for the lid. And again, I'll explain this and this guy here in just a second. Underneath, you can probably tell this thing has seen better days. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But it works, which I'm a little surprised. It does max out at 8 gigs of RAM, however, I don't have any more to put in here at the moment. So this is what we're stuck with. So, what's cool about this, you ask? Well, for starters, let's start with, and the hinge was really hard to work with. Okay, that's not too bad, right? Nice screen, free of scratches, which I'm surprised this has been sitting on the shelf, even though you can see quite a bit of damage around the outside. It does have that stupid joystick mouse. I've always hated these stupid things. they're the worst little things ever. I can't imagine they were ever a good idea. But you know what? Whatever. But along with that comes its two dedicated left and right mouse pad or mouse clickers. And then you have touchpad with scroll on the side and two more. So you have touchpad and click as well as mouse, or I guess joystick and click. They call it an eraser head, you know, whatever, a whole bunch of things. And as you can see here, it was designed for Windows 7 originally. So, moving on, we're going to go look at the interesting piece of this. And this was what I liked. And now it's a tablet. It's kind of like the Lenovo Yoga, except this way, the keys are not exposed. They're hidden underneath. So again, and it locks from both sides. That's this little clip here, and this clip back here, and you turn it around. Now, no matter what angle you have this at, it can turn. And it turns pretty nicely. One-handed, even opens one-handed. For as old a hinge as that is, this thing is really nice. So let's get into a couple of other really cool features. First is, we'll check that out. I believe that is a Wi-Fi antenna, which extends from the lid. Okay, so you got your webcam, but now you're seeing this funny little guy, right? Yeah, we'll get into that here in just a second. Let's move on down to booting it up. Now, I don't know how long this battery will last. I'm sure I need a new one, but this was the best battery I could find. Now, the hard drive does have an issue with it, and that is that it's having a fault with reallocated sectors. So it does this and complains at me on boot up. I'm not sure you can read that, but failing attribute 5, which is reallocated sector counting. There is one spot on the drive that's bad. It's fine, I can buy a new drive. In fact, from the 250 gig drive that's in here, I'll get something smaller. But I basically want to use this as a second PC so that I can monitor and interact with chat during my streams and not have to interrupt the recording that's going on live on my main laptop. So we'll do F1, we'll pass through that, and we'll allow it to boot up into Windows 10. So here's what's going to be really cool about this. I'm going to turn off the lights real quick, and I'm going to show you what was up here. So I'll give you a hint. Right at the top, there's another switch here, and it has a little light bulb. So I'll give you a second to ponder what that means and what that does as I go and turn off the lights, and I will be right back. We'll turn off that one. And I'm not going to completely turn this off, but I am going to dim it enough for somebody to be able to see what I'm doing in here. Okay. So, if we hit that little switch on the top, here's what happens. And it's a little bit hard to find in the dark. Now, isn't that cool? So I'll show you. Right up underneath there, inside of this little button, is actually a keyboard light. You push it in, turns off, hit the button. Let me find the button again. And now you can illuminate the keyboard without getting any glare on the screen. Look at that. That's pretty nice. So you can actually use this in the dark and not have to have the expensive illuminated keyboard. It simply pops right out. When you're done, you just push it back in and you call it a day. That's really nice. Now, of course, it's not very helpful when you have tablet mode. Now, granted, it lights up the wall, but again, that's not helpful unless you plan on doing, you know, you can't see it on this. Unless you plan on doing something like shadow puppets, that's not going to help anybody. But let's turn the lights back on. Let's open this back up. So I'll show you what was going on here. This little switch right here on top, you press that, and the light pops out. It's literally just a press-in button light. I thought this was the most handy feature I'd ever seen. That was cool. I actually kind of wish my new laptop had that. That's kind of nice, actually. So, what's the other big secret behind this guy? Well, its speakers, unfortunately, are just one. And they're right in here, they're super small, and they're crap. In fact, it barely gets loud enough to even bother anybody at max volume. It literally is just not, this is not going to be a music computer. But I'll tell you what it is, a tablet. Well, guess what? It's not touchscreen because from this side, and it's very slow to eject, is a pen. So what we have is now fully functional with a clicker here and an eraser on top. Now this is just plastic and it does have a little bit of a spring feel to it. However, what's cool about this is that as you're doing your things, and if you're in handwriting, you have the button here, and you can rest your hand on the screen and you can still draw without having to do the weird hover thing like you would on a Galaxy Note or something. But if you're writing and you want to erase, you erase with the top. And then you can go back to writing. You erase again, and you go back to writing. And when you're done, this thing literally slides back in, clicks in, and stays. That's handy. I really like that. So, with that being said, I really need to work on cleaning out the Okay, so it looks like, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that or not. Info Center requires, okay, quick launch buttons. That would be, that would be what this switch is, the one I didn't know about. So I don't currently have that installed. It's actually, the installer was designed for Windows 7, so I'm not sure how well it's actually going to work on Windows 10, but we'll give it a shot. Windows 10, as of right now, is fully updated. Everything runs, everything works. I have 4 devices on here in Device Manager that are unknown, unidentified, and generic drivers. I have not yet figured out exactly what those are, but as for a little system, I think I kind of like this little guy. He's small, it turns around, it's rugged, it's a very nice tablet. I do kind of like doing the handwriting or the tapping and pointing aspect, kind of like I did on a Galaxy Note, but with this it was much more intuitive, it was easy to use, and it may come in handy if I decide to use this for trading on GDAX. So rather than trying to scroll the mouse to somewhere and hit it and scroll back and hit it and type in a number and hit it, I can literally tap, 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 or select value, amount, sell, value, amount, buy, instead of trying to scroll over, tap, and then by that time the book is already processed and you've missed your chance. I think this would be a very nice second edition. Even if I just want to use it to display information while I'm working on the video, okay. Done. I got all the space in front of me I can still use if I need to take notes or set something down, and everything else is just behind it. Maybe I just want to use it as a tablet and take notes. Done. Not a big deal. Walk away with it. You can hold it. Remember, it's not touchscreen by your finger. it only works with the pen. And that's really cool. And I seriously need to work on that part. So, the camera. The web camera to know if this thing is worth taking on a trip. Well, is it? You know what? This is going to be interesting. You're now going to see my recording setup. Make that big. It does take a minute because Windows 10 is just a little bit slow to load. And I'll tell you, this hard drive is just absolutely slow as, well, stuff. So there I am. And you've got my phone. My Nexus 6P is sitting in a holder. I'm in my room with super bright light, and then I've got this other stupid light thing over here. But yeah, it works. There is facial detection, which you may or may not be able to see here. But it is detecting my face properly. Video does work. If I go over to there, everything seems to be good. We can go into settings. We got time lapse. So we can record video at 800 by 600 at 20 frames a second, 15 frames a second, 640 by 480 at 15, 30, and 20, and 320 by 280, or I'm sorry, 352 by 288 at 30, 20, and 15. So I'll take the 800 by 600 at 20. Flicker reduction is at 60 hertz, and obviously setting it to auto apparently doesn't really do anything, so no reason to worry about that part. Press and hold camera button, we're not worried about that. So there you go. Now it's recording a video in 800 by 600, 30 FPS. I'm sorry, 20 FPS. This isn't too bad. So it just kind of gives you an idea what my setup is like here. It's not real awesome, but as a second screen, this thing will definitely help. So we can clobber out of this guy, and that is pretty much it for this cute little gem here. I have not tried the fingerprint scanner to see whether or not it works or how well. I did manage to install the HP battery check, and I seem to be topping out at about 95%. I can't seem to get much higher than that. But you know what? Running Windows Home, 64-bit, and pretty much everything is working exactly as it should for something that is now just a little over 10 years old and was designed for Windows 7, which is the last version of Windows any of the drivers were even made for. This is perfect. I really like this guy. So, with that, I will take my little prize here, my Frankenstein, and improve my recording setup with this. Hope you guys liked the video. I know it's totally random. I'm starting to do this kind of thing. But again, I told you guys that as I got my recording setup more complete and upgraded, that I would continue to fill you guys in. I am working on getting a better camera. It's about 150 bucks. I'll be able to do 1920 by 1080 at full 60 FPS on a good quality Sony camera rather than a cell phone. So the video quality should also improve quite a bit. No more focus issues and grainy pixelation or anything like that. It should be much, much better. Hopefully I'll be looking to get that either this Friday or this weekend. I have some renovations at home to do, but that is definitely near the top of my list. So, second screen, I can interact with you guys a little bit better. Grab the camera, that'll improve the quality of the videos, and we can go from there. I'm quite a few subscribers in, and I really thank you guys for that. I cannot thank you enough. I did not expect the channel to do this well. Thank you guys for coming back. With that, like, share, and subscribe, guys, and I will most definitely see you in a better video.